My name is Larry, and I want to talk to you about the most effective alternative cancer therapy that I know of. Hi, this is Larry with Essence of Life, and I have Don on the phone with me right now, and he's going to tell his story. So go ahead, Don.
Thank you, Larry. Yes, my name is Don Engel. I was diagnosed with lymphoma in 2000. It's now the end of 2018, and I am symptom-free and have been for the last 6 or 7 years. Let me tell you how I got that way. My oncologist at Loyola University Hospital, after I was diagnosed, recommended that I start on a chemo protocol. After sitting in the waiting room a number of times and seeing the way people looked after they were on chemo and radiation, I decided to not engage in that method of treatment. I decided instead to do some research on my own, and in doing that, I came across a number of articles that talked about the use of cesium chloride in conjunction with a high pH therapy protocol. I found my way to Larry's website, Essence of Life, and I bought cesium and a number of other pH-related products. And I also came across a book called The Encyclopedia of Herbal Healing, author Phyllis Balch, B-A-L-C-H, Phyllis Balch. And I read a number of things in that encyclopedia as well about different herbal treatments. And I started taking those. And from a dietary perspective, what I did was I cut out as much sugar as I could. I cut out all sodas. I cut out ice cream and candy bars as much as I could. I reduced significantly the amount of red meat that I ate. I stopped drinking coffee and started drinking green tea instead. Started eating things like a lot of blueberries and broccoli, and of course taking these products that I get from Essence of Life. The primary one is cesium. When I first started with this in 2000, there really weren't there wasn't a lot of information available about how often to take it, how much to take, and so forth. So I just started experimenting with it. Cesium comes in a big bottle, and the potassium that you have to take when you take cesium comes in a small bottle. So I took it in the same proportion. I started off with a tablespoon of cesium, and an hour or so later I would take a teaspoon of potassium. After a few weeks of doing that, I increased my intake from 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons once a day. And eventually I was taking about 3 tablespoons of cesium in the morning, 3 teaspoons of potassium, a little while later, and then I would take the same thing again in the evening. Within about 6 or 7 months after I started on this dietary protocol, I had another CAT scan that my oncologist had ordered, and he was quite surprised with the results because, according to him, there must have been some mistake with the scan because all the lymph nodes in my body were half the size they were 6 or 7 months prior to that. I'll also add that when I was diagnosed, my oncologist said that, taking out a lymph node here or there was not an option because by the time it had been discovered, it was pretty much spread throughout my whole body. And that CAT scan that I mentioned, taken 6 or 7 months after I started on this protocol, showed a decrease in lymph node size by about 50%, and that was also around my whole body. So I continued with this protocol religiously for the first 2 or 3 years that I was on it. And then I became a bit of a backslider. I would eat some ice cream occasionally, and I started drinking coffee again, and a few things like that. But I stuck with the other pH regimen, as well as all of the herbal products that I was taking. And they're easy enough to find if you look in this encyclopedia of herbal healing, and on Larry's website. He's got a number of products there as well. So as it stands today, now almost 19 years after I was originally diagnosed, I am completely symptom-free of lymphoma, and I have been for at least 7 or 8 years. No ill effects from any of the products that I took. And I still continue to take cesium, although I don't take it as regularly as I did. I still take it often, but irregularly. And I stay up with some of the other dietary things, although, as I mentioned, I've become more of a backslider. I eat a Snickers now more often than I used to. And so that's my story. I'm happy to talk with anybody who's interested in speaking with me. If you get in touch with Larry, he can give you my email address. And then if you email me your contact information, I will, either email you or call you if you'd like. So please feel free to do so. That's my story, Larry.
Well, I really appreciate it, and I'm glad you are cancer-free, and I hope you stay that way the rest of your life.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you for telling us your story, and I appreciate it very much, and you take care.
Okay, Larry, you too.
All right, bye-bye now.
Yeah.